way it works for the intros, I want to do something that grabs attention. This could be something that has to do with info. It could be a question. You can do something that grabs the attention. And we usually have I say we, my company, myself, I use different stories to open this up, or just something that has to do with the event I'm at. I'm grabbing attention quick. I'm asking questions to get them raising their hand early on because I want them to be brought into this whole flow. We're now in session with Anthony, and I want to make sure you're not lost. So let's get you brought in. Attention comes to me. Now we're locked in. Hey, Anthony Trucks here. I want to dive in and give you some more insights on how to get yourself booked more often. If you're looking to make more money because you're able to get on more stages and make more amazing impact in the world, I want to shortcut that process for you. So we're going to dive into today a couple things. One, I get a lot of questions about how do I market myself? How do I get myself in position to talk about me being a speaker for an event and getting paid to do so? I get a lot of questions about how do I write my keynote? And then also, how do I make sure every speech I go to turns into more speeches? And I'm going to walk you through briefly what we do in our Speak to Freedom program to make that happen. Keep in mind, each of these segments has a lot more of a deeper dive, but I want to give you straightforward, like how we think through this so you can go, hey, can I apply this to my own business? And if you want help doing this, which we can help you amazingly, not only do we know how to do it for me, but also hundreds of other clients to shortcut that process for you. But here's what it looks like. When we go into having a conversation with either meeting planners or speaking bureaus or direct to events, you don't want to have your first email sent out, which you should have a list compiled and be contacting that list. This is how we contact that list. You don't want to come out of the gates, go, look, I'm a speaker. I do this. Here's my page. Here's my video, like all the information, mostly because it's just too much to consume by one person all in one setting. You want to make sure you drip it out little by little to eventually get them to respond to you. So what you want a response from somebody. If you just drown them with a whole bunch of information, they're not going to reach out because it's just too much to unpack. But if you go through a simple process we found works amazingly through these 5 emails, it lets us get into a rhythm of having a conversation, eventually getting on the phone. So the first thing we do is just, hey, are you looking? That's all I want to know. Are you looking for more speakers? Are you looking for someone to be able to be a speaker for your event? Are you looking for someone to potentially speak on your bureau, like you want a new speaker for your bureau? Or are you looking to add someone to your roster as a meeting planner? Are you looking for amazing new speakers? That's all you're saying. It's pretty much that. You don't tell them who you are, what you do, none of that. You just say, I'm a speaker, and I'm wondering if you actually have an area where you need more of some people to help you. Then it's essentially a top of the email, right? Top of email. Hey, I know you're busy. Just want to follow back up with a previous email. And you've gotten these emails before. You've got someone that reached out to you, says, hey, just followed up from before, right? This is saying, hey, are you looking for a speaker? And this one goes, hey, not sure if you saw the last email, but I want to just let you know I'm a speaker. And you open a little bit more about what you do, real brief, a couple like sentences about what you do, what you speak about. But also the email signatures are huge in here. You want to make sure there's details of how to go look into what you do in the signature. A link to your speaking page, your website, or maybe a proposal video. Something that's in the bottom of your signature allows them to go do their own kind of investigative work to find out who you are. The third one is you give a little more detail to who you are. This is where I recommend putting in your story reel, your proposal page, whatever you want to put in that gives them some more insights. If they've been following these along and they haven't responded yet, this is a good time to share a couple details about who you are. You don't need a 15-page email, though. Like, make sure it has the things that are most pertinent to you and moving them into taking the next action, which is to book a call or to reply to your email simply. Like, hey, here's a couple things to check out. I'd love a response when you get a moment. This is all assuming they haven't responded or replied to your emails by now. The fourth one is another one of these following up, which is just say, hey, I'm following up from a previous emails I've sent you. I know you're busy. I put that in there. I know you're busy. I actually say that. I say busy, letting them know, hey, I know you're a busy person. It's not a big deal. So they don't feel guilty for having not responded previously. I know you're busy. You might have not enough time to get back to me. Just want to let you know I said these things. Hope you're doing well, kind of thing. Then the last point, Assuming they have not responded. A lack of response is not a no, by the way. It just means they haven't gotten back to you. Maybe they didn't even get the emails. They got filtered through something. They're busy. I sometimes don't have a chance to get their emails for multiple days. So it's okay if for some reason they haven't replied by now. The last thing is you're going to say, I'll reach out later. This is not saying thank you, I'll never contact you again. It's simply saying, hey, I realize right now is not a good time for you to respond. You might be in the throe of craziness in life or whatever's going on. I'm going to make a note to follow back up with you in the next 3, 6, 9, whatever you choose. Usually about 3 months you follow back up. And we follow back up, we kind of go through the flow again. Sounds weird to do it that way, but when they first see his emails again, it's like, oh, I remember that from the past, and they'll go back through. Now, you want to be tracking this. You must have a sheet that allows you to go through and track the different things you're doing consistently. Mostly because if you don't, you won't know who you sent a message to, if they replied, what message you're on right now, or what email you're on, and it just gets to be overwhelming. So have a sheet. Now, we have these emails templated for people. Literally, you can just copy, paste, send it on out. We also have a cadence tracker, a sheet you can literally just put the name, email, phone, track it across with little check boxes in a sheet to know who you contacted, when you did, if they replied, all that kind of fun stuff. There is responses if they do reply, what you say back and forth. That's inside the program. Now, the next thing is designing your keynote, called an 80-20 keynote. Say someone finally goes, we love it, want to have you speak on stage. A lot of folks ask me, Ant, how do I design my keynote? Now, there is a lot to this. And it's not a lot in the sense of it's overwhelming a lot, but there's segments you want to build like a Lego structure. You want to build piece by piece by piece. So I'm going to go in real quick onto the different sections, but realize that when we actually go deeper on this and just unpack little by little by little, it's a beautiful process to go through. By this time, you should already have your actual $1 million message and your money multiplier framework. So it seamlessly builds into the whole flow. But here's how we think through creating a keynote. First, I want to have my intro. You'll see here the intro, then we'll go to body, then we'll go to conclusion. The way it works for the intros, I want to do something that grabs attention. This could be something that has to do with info. It could be a question. You can do something that grabs the attention. And we usually have I say we, my company, myself, I use different stories to open this up or just something that has to do with the event I'm at. I'm grabbing attention quick. I'm asking questions to get them raising their hand early on because I want them to be brought into this whole flow. We're now in session with Anthony, and I want to make sure you're not lost. So let's get you brought in. Attention comes to me. Now we're locked in. Then I'm going to do an open loop for my story. Now, this is a big, big piece here because I want them to hear a beautiful story in the beginning that they don't even know is an open loop. In fact, the way that I have it designed is when I go through it, this open loop I'm doing, they sometimes are not aware it's an open loop. It's just a beautiful story. But if I do it right, it's going to be able to come down here. And I'll tell you why that's so important when we get to that portion in a second. I'm going to open a loop with a beautiful story that leads me into my thesis statement or what I want them to know or believe while I'm on stage. And for me, it's about if you want to access your next level of success, you must work in the dark so you can win in the light. That's what I'm going to have you believe that by the time we are done today. My stories, my message of dark work, it's going to be boldly put in there, but that's what I want you to get. So when you get done with my keynote, you go, yep, I believe that what he said is the truth. I'm going to do it. I want to go roll, right? It's also where companies that want to bring you in, they see the value of you as a speaker. If your goal is to get them to do an action or initiative or some movement, that's where you bury this thing. You put it here where people early on get where they're going to understand and learn from you. And now there's value behind what you're speaking about while you're on stage. So when a company goes, we need someone to come talk about your message in your topic area, boom, you put it in just there. Now, how do we do it from here? The next thing is to go, well, if it's like a paper, there's a thesis, I must have supporting content. Beautiful. This right here becomes your point 1, point 2, and point 3, but they also have sub-stories that break down to where this lesson get landed properly. Now, in this area here, this will, if done properly, will be the complete unpacking of your personal framework or your money multiplier framework. I am making sure what my framework is, which we design it in this manner, right? It's the simple Venn diagram, the genius model, and we have these 3 segments. These will match the 3 segments as they go there. So now I'm talking through this process that really is my value, my beautiful way to deliver on this promise of the thesis. It's this, but it's opened up in different stories and walked through while delivering my keynote. But here's the thing. You don't teach the entire framework. You teach the top core concepts and their importance through story. If you've actually seen one of my virtual trainings, we talk about teaching through story. This is how we do it. And then what I do is go, great. What they are unaware of is I'm actually doing something where I am seeding an open loop. I'm making them go, this is a really cool thing. Whatever this process is, I like it. I don't fully know what it is, but I know that's the reason that this person had some great success. It's boom, all right here. They have this great a thought, an idea. It's an open loop, which is what we want for them to have this. Man, what is this cool concept? And we leave it right here. So now they're getting an idea of the name of it, what it can do, but not exactly what it is. So it's an open loop for them wondering, what in the world is this, right? Then what I do, if I've done this properly and I've landed point 1, point 2, point 3, and it is landed to where they get the thesis and how it works. Now what I'm doing is going, hey, let me go ahead and recap this bad boy for you. So we go here and I'm going to recap. So if you want to be able to access your next level of success, you must work in the dark to win in the light. The way you do it is respect the light, do the dark work, and then emerge, right? These are our 3 process steps. They go, got it. Now I close it. And for me, with a story of me playing football and like a finger in the air for my mom when I score a touchdown, she didn't get to see it, but the newspaper put me in the front cover of the newspaper. It closes it. Why do I do this? Because I want the audience to know the speech is over or it's coming to a close, so they are ready to give me a standing ovation. That's what you want. You want them to raise up out of their seat, right, give you a whole standing ovation. It won't happen if they don't know the story's coming to a close. But if I can bring something from the beginning back to the end, that people start realizing, oh, it's coming to an end. They're ready for it. Then it closes. I do a good job of landing it. I give my message and my last hurrah. Oh, they love it. They clap while they're clapping. In the beginning 2-3 seconds, I click a slide to this right here. My call to action is a way that we allow them to be able to go, I want more of this person because here's what I want to do. I want them to wonder what this is. And I want to make sure I tell them, if you want access to this, right? If you want more information and some free things I give you, then what I want you to do is go and do this. Hit this little link. I open the loop. I'm going to close the loop now, and it puts me in the driver's seat. It's a big piece. Now, because I've said, hey, if you want access to this thing that you know is responsible for my success, but you don't know how it works, I want to give you an audiobook, a workbook, a quiz, and an actual daily podcast to get access to it. They go, I love that. The client loves that I'm giving free stuff away. The person in the audience loves the fact that I'm able to give them some free cool things and they get access to this. Now I'm in the driver's seat because I've opened the loop, closed it, and I can reach out to them. I have their information to open the conversation so I can get more stages, more coaching contracts, more consulting contracts. And then we go over to speech spin, which is all you can see woven into the 80-20 keynote. Now, for this little piece here, a little sidebar, we'll go to the keynote section before I go and close it up. You want to have a story database. Now, this allows you to have a really good ability to choose whatever stories that you need to fit into this. Because if you have different groups and audiences, you want different stories. So you can create a keynote that is changing the story database, the different story for the same lessons in each of these 3 points. So it moves smooth. Closing that, let's come to the speech spin portion, which is where we've already kind of alluded to, but I want to talk about this right here. It's called PPPO. So what I want to do is while I'm doing this, while I'm having people have a conversation through my story, yes, I've opened a loop in the keynote itself. I'm closing it by asking for something, but during the speech, I have to do something that most people don't pay attention to. I have to make them love the idea of what I'm talking about. The PPP is this. Most people say, what's the pain? They go, most people go PPO. They go, what's the pain? Here's my product or my solution, right? And then objections they may have. So most people just cover P and P, but they miss out on this. Now I'm going to tell you why it's important. So I'm going to talk about the problem people have in my keynote, in my stories, so they can resonate with me, connect to me, right? I'm also going to go through the next P, which is one that most miss. It's called pain. That problem causes us pain. And when you're on the stage, one of the things you want to do as a human is connect as a human being to the people in the audience. Talk about the moments when you were in your darkest times, what experience it felt like, what you did and didn't do, who you talked to, who left you, who gave, what happened. So people can go, gosh, I get this person, but also frame it to where you have them experience their own pain that this problem is causing. So I'm talking about dark work and how it's great, the opportunity, what it gave me for success. What really resonates is me tying in what that felt like in my life to where they can go, God, I feel that same way. I want this pain to end. It's causing issues in my marriage or in my parenting or in my career or in my health because I'm making them see it the way that they can through my filter of what it did to my life. So not only do they like the idea, the opportunity of it, they like that it can end a pain that they have or a frustration they're currently experiencing. So I talk about that pain. Then I talk about what I would say the product, right? But we're not going to call it the product. We're going to call it the solution. The solution, obviously, is a dark work experience. That's it. So the solution is this dark work experience I'm talking to. They felt the problem. They felt the pain. Now they know the solution is what I've talked about on stage the entire time, which makes them desire this thing I'm offering more. Now in the keynote itself, they're going, gosh, I want this thing here because I want this pain to end. And then what I'm doing, if I'm wicked good at this, is I am handling any objections throughout. This is not a sales thing. It's just saying, what would make somebody be apprehensive to applying this information or trying what I'm talking about? And if it's one of the time, the resources, I don't know, the money, no one gets me, I haven't had success in the past, I've failed too many times, work that into your stories. Talk about in your experience what you had as an objection and how you overcame it so that they get through this whole story at the end and they don't have the inherent objection that they, say might have had because you've already mitigated it during your keynote because you talked to it. Now, this all is a system you can create. It looks like a lot of lines, a lot of crazy. This stuff can all be done step by step by step, very easily. We, in fact, do it with clients all the time. If you are interested in finding out how to do this, how to build this for yourself to where you can market yourself well, deliver an amazing keynote, and then actually spin that up into more speeches, and if you want to, coaching and consulting, I want you to go ahead and book a call with our team. We can walk you through all the ways that we do this. This is only 3 of the segments that we talk to in a multitude of our process. But it's not that you have to think all crazy like I'm showing you. We just walk you through it step by step. It's very simple, and this gets taken care of without you even realizing it in the building process. So that said, I want to come and give you some cool new insights based on questions we've gotten very often. Hope this serves you, and I hope you book a call with our team now. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Speak to Freedom podcast. I hope you found our discussion inspiring and informative. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay updated on all our future releases, be sure to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for tuning in today. Until next time, remember to speak with confidence and clarity so you can one day soon speak to freedom. See you in the next episode.